Good afternoon YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to adjust the headlight or the headlamp on my Royal Enfield Himalayan. Now it's a really short video, it's a really simple thing to do, but it's something we need to keep an eye on. Now I've discovered, and this is real, I'm not making this up, I've been blinding people. People are flashing me when I'm out in the dark, you know, so I need to just adjust that headlamp beam down a little bit. Right guys, this is just a quick one today. I'm going to adjust the headlamp on my Royal Enfield Himalayan because it's riding up just a little bit too high. Now I've not touched this, but I think just with adding all this extra weight to the back of the bike, it's starting to put that beam just ever so slightly high. So I'm starting to get people flashing their main beams at me at night, telling me that I'm obviously blinding them. Last night I tried to film it on the GoPro. I went out in the dark in the trees and stuff. So the beam is far too high, not even on full beam, yeah, just on dip beam. It's too high, but again, of course, the GoPro didn't really pick that up. Another thing I'm just going to talk about briefly, I'm a little bit annoyed with myself. Last night I had an ABS light come on, yeah. This morning I kind of troubleshooted it and I resolved the problem, which is great, that's all good. But I should have filmed it, you know, I'm forgetting I've got a YouTube channel. So I could have combined these two videos together type thing. But anyway, it doesn't matter, I can go through just exactly what the issue with that is. But let's fix this headlight first. Little tip with this guys, I'm maybe 10 feet away from this building. When I put this headlight on, then the camera won't pick it up, but I can see exactly where the beam is sitting on that building. And I'm going to use these shutters as a guide, you know, so that when I drop the headlight beam, then I can see how far I've dropped it. To do this job, all you're going to need is a screwdriver to pop the little cap off and a 6mm Allen key. It really is that simple. On both sides of the headlight here, you'll see this with your Himalayan. You've got these little caps. Now I've just loosened that up with a screwdriver. You want to just pop that off. And do the same on the other side. Just put this down at the moment, make sure I don't lose it. Do the same again on the other side. So I just want to loosen it. Get nice and loose. Do the same on the other side. And what will happen is you're then able to, once you loosen it both sides, you can tip the headlight up and down. Now if you're interested in any of this other stuff guys, I've got loads of videos I've done on like headlight grills and, you know, windscreens and stuff like this. Anyway, let's loosen this a bit further. Right folks, I've loosened this either side and that headlamp doesn't want to move very much, and it's because, see if you look down inside here, see this wiring loom that's in the back of your headlamp cluster? It's actually cable wrapped on there and it's not wanting to move very far, so I'm going to cut that cable wrap just to move that back ever so slightly. You can actually see it a bit easier from underneath. There's a cable wrap there. You can see this wiring, it's quite thick and it's just stopping, or it's restricting the movement of this headlamp, so we need to cut that just so that there's a bit of free movement there. Now folks, I've not moved it by a huge amount, but you can see this line here. I'll need to clean this up obviously. This is where the headlamp was sitting up against the windscreen before, so I've dropped that down about 1 centimetre. That should be more than enough to drop that beam across the distance, but I'll go out tonight when it's dark and I'll just check. Otherwise, I can loosen this off and drop it down another say ½ centimetre, should be more than enough. Pop these little caps back on. A centimetre or 10mm doesn't seem like much guys, yeah? But before I started this job, that beam was sitting around here, about third shutter up. Now just moving that at a 10mm, 1 centimetre, the beam's actually sitting below the shutters here. So you imagine that as being a car bonnet, and I'm about what? Maybe 8 to 10 feet from the bike itself here. That's about right. Without getting too scientific about it, it's no longer directed straight into the driver's eyes in most circumstances. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I also had the ABS light come on. Now, as I said in a previous video, Occam's razor, usually the most obvious solution is the correct one. On this guys, the first thing you want to check is your fuse box. The Himalayan fuse box is certainly on the BS4, I don't know about the BS6, but on the BS4 model, the Himalayan has actually got 3 fuses for the ABS. You've got the 5 amp, which is the ECU, you get the 10 amp, which is the main fuse 2, and the 25, which is main 1. Now, first thing I did was pull out all of those fuses one by one. I started at the 25, the 10 and the 5, and it turns out the little 5, the 5 amp fuse had blown. So that's the power into the ECU, which makes a lot of sense. My guess is when I've started up the bike last night, there's been a little bit of a power surge, and that fuse is blown before that little power surge has gone through to the ABS ECU. Now I've replaced the fuse, straightforward. You see how much mud and stuff slung up in here. That's not unusual for me. I guess it's probably not unusual for most Himalayan riders, but it's not impossible that your little, you know, your electrics for your ABS and stuff here or something might be damaged. One of the reasons you might get blown fuses on ABS more often than say other types of fuses is because there's that constant power shift. You know, when you're hitting those brakes, there's little electrical impulses going backwards and forwards, where it's continually testing. It's not like a headlamp where there's continual power flowing through there. It's that backwards and forwards through the system that sometimes can wear fuses out a little bit quicker. It's not a huge issue, it's not a big deal. That is what it is. But as I say, I'm still going to get it checked out by the dealership, even though I'm confident it's fine. But, you know, it's under warranty. It takes 10 seconds to plug it in, or for him to give it a quick once over, tell me everything's tickety-boo. At the end of the day, it's your brakes, you know.